We're now just over 1 week away until this year's annual spring game. We'll talk WKU football.
And one of our reporters gives you the insight to how WKU athletes feel after their playing time on the Hill has come to an end.
All of that and more coming up right here on The Extra Point.
Extra Point.
Welcome to this edition of The Extra Point. I'm Dalton Godby.
And I'm Kane Reyes.
We've got a stacked show for you tonight. Kane, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Let's go. The Hilltopper baseball team traveled to San Antonio last week for a 3-game series against conference opponent UTSA. The Tops started the series hot in Game 1 with 2 runs in the second inning. However, that would be the only offense of the day for the Hilltoppers as they dropped Game 1 14-2. Game 2 on Saturday was a bit of a different story. Junior pitcher Paul Kirkpatrick threw a complete game on the mound as the Hilltoppers edged out a 4-3 victory. After a split decision in the Friday and Saturday games, UTSA would go on to take the series on Sunday with a final score of 7-1. Coach Pulowski and his Hilltopper baseball team started their 3-game homestand against Charlotte only a few minutes ago. The 49ers come into the matchup with a 17-16 record compared to WKU's 11 wins and 20 losses. Charlotte currently ranks 7th in Conference USA as the Tops have fallen in the ranks to the 11th spot. Following today's game, the series will continue with games coming on Friday and Saturday. Now for more on today's matchup between WKU and Charlotte, Extra Point reporter Madison Bonzo joins us live from Nick Denny's Field. What's the game looking like, Madison?
I'm here at the Nick watching the Hilltopper baseball team take on the Charlotte 49ers. It's clearly a beautiful day for some baseball, but it really hasn't been a beautiful season for the WKU baseball team. The WKU baseball team is currently ranked 11th out of 12th in Conference USA rankings. But honestly, it's looking up for the Hilltopper baseball team. It's currently the top of the 4th here at the Nick, where the score is currently 3-0, WKU winning. The star of this show has really been Coley Curry. He's been hitting dingers in and out of the field. He currently hit 2 of the 3 runs for the WKU baseball team. If you're a fan of facts, here's a fact for you. It's currently Throwback Thursday here at the Nick. The last time WKU was ranked 3rd in their conference was back in 2009, where they were ranked 4th in the Sun Belt Conference. Hopefully WKU can turn up and kick butt in the oncoming tournament for the Conference USA. Back to you all.
Thanks for that report, Madison. For live updates on that game, you can follow us on Twitter at ExtraPointWKU. The Bowling Green Hot Rods kicked off their 2017 season this past Thursday as the Fort Wayne Tin Caps came to town for the start of a 4-game series. The Hot Rods looked to start the season off on a high note, but would drop the home opener 4-1. In Game 2, the Hot Rods bounced back and claimed a 6-4 win. They then traveled to Fort Wayne for Games 3 and 4 of the series, where they would split the decision, winning 1 of 2 road games to end the series with a tie. The Hot Rods are currently in a 3-game series against Lansing and will return to BG Ballpark on Friday for another matchup with Fort Wayne.
Speaking of Fort Wayne, the Tin Caps roll into Bowling Green again this weekend for 3 more games. After the 4-game stint with the Hot Rods with the split series, Fort Wayne dropped 3 straight at home against South Bend. Now the Hot Rods look to capitalize on the 3-game losing streak from the Tin Caps. This series starts in just a few minutes, with Game 1 starting at 6:35. Game 2 is tomorrow night at the same time, and the season finale is set for 2:05 Saturday afternoon. The Lady Toppers are celebrating a series win from this weekend against UTEP. The Lady Tops dropped the first game against the Miners, losing 10-2. However, that night they took an L, but this night they bounced back. WKU recorded 18 runs and never looked back in Game 2, obliterating UTEP 18-8. Game 3 would prove to be a little harder to get the lid open. After 7 scoreless innings, the Lady Tops made 13 plate appearances at the top of the 8th, registering 2 walks, 3 doubles, and 4 singles, taking the victory over UTEP 7-2. WKU softball is looking to pick up a few more wins following last weekend's series. The Charlotte 49ers come into the matchup with a record of 23-17, while WKU barely sits over 500, 22-21. The conference standings show WKU ahead of Charlotte in conference play. WKU is 6-9, while Charlotte is 5-7. WKU and Charlotte both defeated their previous opponents 7-2. The series will kick off in Bowling Green this Friday at 1, finishing the final game on Saturday at 1 as well.
With the spring game quickly approaching, Mike Sanford and his Hilltoppers are fine-tuning the machine that is WKU football. This past Friday wrapped up the third week of spring practice for the Hilltoppers. With a brand new coaching staff and changes to the playbook come mistakes, both mental and physical. However, veteran players like DeAndre Furby, Mike White, and other returning starters are helping cut back on the team's mistakes with their football IQ. Sanford himself says he is impressed with the progress that's been made.
You know, there's been some rough days, and a lot of it's because we're installing new plays, you know, the new schemes, new situations that come up. So, you know, I think that's been a lot of growth, and, you know, just these players showing off tremendous FBI or football intelligence within the schemes that we're asking them to run. You know, that's been encouraging to see.
Heroes walk the campus of WKU every day, but this week there's only one. Coming up, we'll reveal our hero on the hill.
And Mike Sanford will want nothing more than for one player to be the success story of WKU football. We'll tell you who and more.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect.
Nicarius.
But it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Homecoming. It's a long-standing tradition on the Hill, and the official date for the 2017 event has been set. WKU will host the Charlotte 49ers for the first time in the history of the program on October 14th. Kickoff time, as well as the homecoming theme, will be announced at a later date. In the 2015 season opener for the Hilltopper football team, star running back Leon Allen went down with a severe knee injury. Some questioned if he'd ever carry the ball again for the Tops. Our Will Puckett has more on his return to the gridiron.
To be honest with you, I feel awful for Leon Allen.
On September 10, 2015, WKU running back Leon Allen routinely went into the flat to catch a pass. However, what would happen next was all but routine. The running back would be met by a Louisiana Tech defender and tear multiple ligaments and bones in his knee, ending his 2015 campaign. That season, however, the show had to go on.
But we've got to get multiple guys ready to go so that we can run the football.
Now fast forward to the 2017 season, and it's a different story. New head man on the Hill, Mike Sanford, is looking to make sure Allen's story doesn't end at the injury.
I want Leon to be a success story here at Western Kentucky.
The 6-foot, 245-pound running back is set to return to the field this spring season as the Hilltoppers look to defend their back-to-back conference titles. And for a coach who didn't recruit Allen, Coach Sanford has quickly learned about his pure strength.
He himself is one of the strongest human beings that I literally have ever been around. I mean, you shake that young man's hand, you call out uncle.
Returning to the field is one thing, being full strength is another. And for Coach, he still feels Allen has a little ways to come in that department.
The ongoing challenge with Leon is always, the continued full rehabilitation of his knee. But we've seen some very positive progress made.
Whether Allen can come back or not remains to be seen. Will Puckett, the Extra Point.
Now, Leon Allen has not practiced with the team this spring, but is expected to return for the upcoming season.
WKU basketball star Justin Johnson made the transition to the football field this spring. Here's Extra Point reporter Matthew Stewart with more.
Matt, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Favorite for 3 seasons, but this year you might see him make noise somewhere other than Diddle Arena. That's right. This season he'll be catching passes right here in LT Smith Stadium.
This may come as a surprise move to some, but to others it makes perfect sense. Johnson has been the face of WKU basketball for the past 2 seasons, grabbing awards and putting up impressive numbers. The 6'7", 240-pound forward is a force inside. His size and intangibles are suited for a college tight end. Comparisons are being made to Jimmy Graham and George Fant. Justin, along with former Hilltopper great George Fant, earned all-conference recognition in his time. Fant finished his career at WKU ranking 13th in scoring. He didn't see much of the football field as a topper, but was picked up by the Seahawks as an offensive lineman and signed as a free agent. Fant made his first career start in Week 8 this past season. Graham, on the other hand, is a top-tier NFL tight end, also playing with the Seahawks. After his basketball career at Miami, where he is 8th in career blocks, he joined the football team as a tight end. In 2010, he was drafted in the 3rd round and now has 59 career touchdowns to his name and is a 4-time Pro Bowler. Johnson has the potential to be successful in the game of football. If he can catch on to the game that he hasn't played since high school and stay away from injury, who knows what can happen.
Whether Justin Johnson decides to play basketball, football, or both is still to be determined. Either way, he'll still be a fan favorite here on the Hill. Reporting for the Extra Point, I'm Matthew Stewart.
Now, Johnson is still listed as an active member of the Hilltopper basketball team, but suffered an injury on the gridiron last Friday. For more on that, we have Matt Stewart to join us for a little talk about WKU football. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I've been so much time right here recently, it's starting to feel like home.
Matt, I just want to ask you first, you've been following Justin Johnson for quite some time now. What has he looked like on the football field compared to on the basketball field?
This so far in spring practice, he looks good. He's a big guy, 6'7", 240. He's got the prototype body to be a tight end in college. But just yesterday, I was at the stadium. I saw him walking in a boot. He had a crutch. Things don't look too good. The word on the street, he's out 4 to 6 weeks. If it doesn't heal up then, he might be out for as much as 6 months. That could jeopardize his basketball season this upcoming year. So, only time will tell.
You talk about that injury, and it seems that last season that WKU has been plagued with injuries. Marcus Ward, DeAndre Furby, Nakarius Fant, and others all went down with injuries and are still not 100%. Where are they at right now in that recovery process?
Marcus Ward's looking to make a strong return on the defense. DeAndre Furby, after injuring that shoulder, he's back. He's dropped about 20 pounds. Look for him to be a weapon that Mike White can utilize in that backfield. He's a good guy. He can catch the ball. He's got some speed to get to that second level. Nakarius, he's still recovering from that ACL, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do this season.
Switching gears from injuries now to the football itself. Changing from an all-new coaching staff from Brom to Sanford himself, what is the biggest difference and how is that going since you've seen it?
I tell you, attending these spring practices, seeing Mike Sanford put them in situational football is a big difference. Brom, he put them through a lot of drills. He got them game ready. But it's cool to see a coach that puts them in game time situations in practice before the season even starts. You want guys, when they're on the field come, this fall, to be ready for game time activity, to see that ball, to go after a pick, know what to do, who to block, what the schemes are. And Mike Sanford's really been able to implement that so far this season.
Thanks for joining us, Matthew. Now shifting from football to basketball, Rick Stansberry continues to add the long list of recruits coming to the Hill next season. This time coming in form of a JUCO shooting guard, Jordan Bringers. Bringers is originally from Radcliffe, Kentucky, but showed his elite shooting ability at the junior college level, averaging nearly 21 points per game with just over 46% from the three. Bringers adds even more skill to an already nationally ranked recruiting class. Speaking of that recruiting class, two soon-to-be Hilltoppers are playing in nationally televised games this weekend. Five-star Mitchell Robinson is set to play in the Jordan Brand Classic tomorrow night at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. You can catch that game at 7 p.m. on ESPN2. Also, Tavion Hollingsworth will compete in this year's Derby Festival Classic at 6 p.m. on Saturday evening in Louisville. That game airs nationally on Fox Sports 2. Be sure to follow along on Twitter with Extra Point reporter Karen Eisert, who will be in Louisville for the Derby Classic.
WKU Volleyball is beginning its annual spring tournament this weekend at EA Diddle Arena. The tournament will feature teams such as Lipscomb, Southern Illinois, and Samford. The first game will commence at noon versus Lipscomb. Following that, the Tops will face Southern Illinois at 2. Lastly, the ladies will finish the tourney against Samford at 5 that evening. Admission will be free to see the three-time Conference USA champs back in action this Saturday starting at noon.
Hilltopper athletes are covered each and every day in their time here on the Hill. But what about when their playing days come to an end? Our Jimmy Stratman caught up with a few former Tops to see what the future holds.
You know the faces. You know the names. But behind the bright lights and the red and white uniforms are students facing many of the same problems that every student faces.
As soon as this semester started, I kind of had like a different mindset, like, well, it's not just going to be like in the summer. I'm coming back and going to, practice and play and work out. Like now it's like, after this, like, I have to get a career. I have to get a job.
One of the main differences is that some of these athletes will have to walk away from the one thing that has stayed with them up to this point, sports.
Tennis and, like I said, soccer, rugby. I did gymnastics for a minute. It's hard to believe now I'm 7'1", but so yeah, it's been a crucial part of my life.
It's such an identity thing, like whenever I meet people or I was like, I'm Georgia, I play volleyball at Western, and like now I can kind of still say that, but it's like I correct myself sometimes because I'm like, I did play.
To some athletes, the transition from life on the court to life off the court can be like flipping a switch. For others, it's a bit more difficult.
Being in a regime of 4 years where you do this and this and this, and then you go to sleep and then start it all over again. And now it's kind of like, you can do this if you want, and everything seems really optional and flexible, and I kind of like it.
Initially it was hard, but now, I'm getting more used to it. I have more time, I'm focusing more on my career and what I need to do in the next step of my life, so it's getting easier.
For Georgia O'Connell, focusing on her career partially means involving herself in the WKU marketing department and learning what goes on behind the scenes on game day.
This is how you're going to run the graphics, and this is how these Little League teams are going to go on the field. And, it's just so much that there's so much going on behind the scenes, but until you actually see it firsthand, you start to really appreciate those people that do it for you every day.
While professional life looms on the horizon for both Ben and Georgia, one more challenge awaits them here on the Hill. Graduation.
I'm not ready to leave this place or leave these people that I've been around for 4 years.
I think it's going to be more scary walking out there than it was playing in front of the Yum Center.
Reporting for the Extra Point, I'm Jimmy Stratman.
Spoiler alert, this week we have a master jaw dropper. We'll show you what happened coming up.
An Extra Point reporter Hannah Sells caught up with one lady golfer from across the pond. Find out who next.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. big time.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone the cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
On Tuesday, the Hilltopper men's golf team traveled down I-65 to Nashville for a match at Lipscomb University. Led by Billy Tom Sargent, who finished 10th in the tournament, the Tops went on to claim a 4th-place finish at the Ryman Hospitality Intercollegiate with Sargent, Easton, Lowe, and Jeffers all finishing top 50 finishes. Switching gears now, the Lady Topper golf team is coming off a 2nd-place finish this weekend in Murray, Kentucky. 4 WKU players finished top 20 overall in Murray State's Jan Weaver Invitational. WKU junior Georgina Blackman finished the tournament only 3 strokes behind the leader, tying for 5th place. This was also the best score out of all the Lady Toppers. The Essex, England native also tied for the most birdies in the tournament with 9.
Every college student has to adapt to a way of new living when they move away from home, regardless of how close or far away that is. Extra Point reporter Hannah Sells meets with one student athlete whose home might be a little bit farther away than the average Hilltopper.
It's not unheard of for college students to attend a school far away from home, but it's rare to find someone who is over 4,000 miles away from home. Hailing from Essex, England, Lady Topper golfer and 2-time All-CUSA selection Georgina Blackman doesn't let the distance from home affect how she plays on the course.
Well, I mean, I've known I wanted to come to America to play college golf since I was about 14. So I've always known that I was going to be away from home. I miss home when I'm off the course or if I'm not doing anything, whereas when I'm playing golf, I don't really think about it. It's like a nice escape, really.
Coming to America is always an adjustment for any foreign exchange student, and Georgina experienced that on the links.
I would say it's a lot more relaxed here. Like, people use carts and stuff here as well and play music from the carts, whereas back home, we don't really use carts. Everyone wears really smart clothes. You take turn when you're in the tee, so it's kind of different, but I quite like how it's so relaxed here. It's nice, yeah.
A more relaxed atmosphere might have made the grass a little greener from across the pond for Georgina.
I've learnt that if I'm starting off badly, I can turn it around. I didn't start too well, the semester too well, and I knew it was only something minor, and I, put my mind to it, worked hard, and I've had probably one of my best semesters since I've been here, so I'm really pleased with how I've handled it.
Going into her final year, Georgina is teeing up for more success.
But going into senior year, I feel really confident with how I'm playing. I've got the whole summer to practice, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Reporting for the Extra Point, I'm Hannah Sells.
Thanks for that report, Hannah. Tune in next week right here on the Extra Point for more on Hilltopper Golf. The NFL Draft is quickly approaching. Coming up, we'll show you how a few former Hilltoppers are making strides to achieve their dreams of turning pro.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know. Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
A couple of former Hilltoppers are gearing up for the 2017 NFL Draft. Taywan Taylor, Forrest Lamp, and Max Halpin have caught the interest of many NFL scouts. According to NFL draft analyst Mel Kiper Jr., Forrest Lamp is projected to be picked mid to late first round. Hilltopper receiver Taywan Taylor had a spectacular pro day and is projected to be chosen in the later rounds. Another former Hilltopper, Max Halpin, has participated in individual workouts with both the Atlanta Falcons and the Baltimore Ravens. The NFL Draft will kick off on April 27th.
You've heard it before, that old saying, heroes don't always wear capes. Well, in this case, our hero wears short shorts. Conference USA named him Male Field Athlete of the Week after his stellar performance at the Hilltopper Relays. I present to you this week's hero on the hill, Ventavious Sears. Sears posted a personal best 16.06 meter triple jump that earned him first place in the event and marked the third longest jump in school history. He also took gold in the long jump and in the men's 4x1 relay. Congratulations, Ventavious. You're our hero on the hill. Ladies and gentlemen, hang on to your jaws because they're about to drop. This week's jaw dropper comes all the way from Augusta, Georgia. That's right, home of the Masters. On the fifth hole of the course at Augusta, Russell Henley's looking to place one softly on the green with his second shot. The ball floats up in the air forever and boom! Are you kidding me? He sinks it from 185 yards out. That shot gave Henley an eagle for the hole and was the first eagle on hole 5 since 2003. Henley would go on to finish the tournament at 1 under par and tie for 11th place. Well, folks, it's that time in the show where Kane and I say, the heck with the extra point, we're going for 2. We're going to talk a little bit about Rick Stansberry, his past season, and what the Hilltoppers have been able to do after this season. Now, last year was a bit of a disappointment in his first year on the hill, but he's been going to work for this recruiting class. Brought in a highly touted recruiting class with so many individuals that is very impressive. We'll start with Tavion Hollingsworth out of Lexington, Kentucky, averaged 24 points a game and 5 rebounds, and that's just impressive.
That is super impressive. Not only is he very well coached, as Stansberry said, but he's got ball handling. We need some WKU definitely needs some ball handlers to come into the season so they can get back from the disappointing season that was last season.
He and Mitchell Robinson will both be playing in All-Star Classics that will be nationally televised, as we said. Also got a hold of Jordan Branger's 6'2" JUCO transfer, and that's going to be a big addition from the three-point line. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you. For Kane Reyes, I'm Dalton Godby, and always, the extra point is up, and it's good.